What do you think's in the back of the truck, honey?
Well, I know it's not kittens. You didn't bring home a puppy. Yes! Are you serious? I love power tools.
Isn't that like 2 Mother's Days in a row? You got power tools?
This is awesome. Where did you find this?
I'm gonna say the same thing you always tell me. It was on sale.
It was on sale? Okay, I'll let you have it. It was on sale. Welcome back, guys. My husband knows the way to my heart. I have a brand new table saw, and today we're gonna go ahead and get it unboxed and show you what it's all about. Let's get started. We are unboxing the Craftsman table saw. This is a 13 amp, and is this the size of the blade?
Yep, 8 1/4 blade, 5,700 RPM. This is the max depth that it can cut, and this is the max angle that it can cut, 45 degrees. And when it's at that 45 degrees, it can cut up to 1 5/8 inch.
This is awesome. Okay, we're gonna open her up and start pulling stuff out.
You got your safety guard that goes on top of the blade. You got your push bar.
Well, the most important thing is that it does come with a manual.
Yeah, just throw those away.
We throw those away? No, we don't.
You got another variation of a push bar. That's your adjuster lock. Sitting upside down.
Ooh.
That's your leveler. Give you a straight edge to slide it with.
Is it all sitting in styrofoam?
Yeah. This is the one piece that everybody forgets to take out. Because if you don't take that piece out,
What happens, Sonny?
you won't be able to adjust the height of the blade.
Ah.
So, yeah. I want you to zoom in here real quick. So you see what's going on here? This is your adjusting mechanism, and these all appear to be plastic gears. Move the box.
All right, now that we have completely unboxed it and we kind of babbled as we were going along with pulling it out, let's break everything down Barney style here and kind of give you the terminology for some of the different pieces and really show you how this thing goes together. Let's get moving on that. So you've guessed it, I've already had this thing put together and running. It's all nice and dusty now. It works great, by the way. The first thing we're gonna do, when you pull it out of the box, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna be completely flat. You're gonna have to turn that little lever and unlock it, and that's gonna allow you to pull this piece out. And what you're now seeing is the housing for the blade. These 2 wrenches, there's 2 of them that are here on the side. Craftsman gives you the wrenches so that you can get in here with your wrench. There we go. There's the bolt. And you would be able to tighten that and loosen it however is needed. So right now, if you only use 1 wrench, it totally turns it. That's why you have 2, because the other one has to go on the other side of the blade there to really lock it in place and be able to actually move the bolt and not just turn the whole mechanism like that. Okay, so that's what these are for. You've got a nice little storage for your wrenches, so you don't have to make room in your toolbox or anything for them. You could just attach them right back onto the actual saw. The next thing I'm going to go over is something that's called the riving knife, okay? This metal piece right there is actually a lever. So stick your finger in there and you're going to lift it in the upward position, okay? Once that is up, then you're going to be able to pull that riving knife right out, okay? It's not going to pull completely out. You're basically lifting it up into the position it's supposed to be in. Don't forget though, once you do that, you have to go back in and you have to push that lever down. Don't be nervous if that lever is a little tough to move. It should be. If it was stupid loose, you got some problems going on. So once you have your riving knife up in the position it needs to be in, now we're good to put the cover back on. Make sure you lock it so it doesn't fly off and get caught in the blade. So now that your riving knife is sticking up where it's supposed to be, to raise the blade, we're going to use this turn knob, okay? So I'm going to turn this, and the blade is now making an appearance in slow motion. So how high your blade is actually up really depends on the thickness of the board that you're trying to cut through. So just to show you, for example here, if I were going to cut this board, I don't need to have the blade that high. So you just come back here to your turn knob and you're going to lower that blade. So you want to make sure the blade is actually catching it, but we don't need to be ridiculous with how high the blade is up. So what I've been doing is right about here is sufficient for that. That way I know the blade is going to catch it, and I don't have to worry about this great big blade being out. Okay, the next thing I'm going to install is something that's called the blade guard. The blade guard is going to look like this. So there is a little lever right there. And you'll notice, where is it? There we go. You're going to notice some slots on it. And you're basically going to line it up with these slots. So the easiest way to put this on is to get it into the first slat there. And then you slide it back and you lower it. And then don't forget you're going to have to flip the lever. And make sure you test it so that it's not loose or coming off, and that's how you're going to know you're secure. The blade guard has a little screw here and it allows it to go up and down. So maybe depending on your cut, you might only want one down and one up. It depends on what you're cutting. This piece here is called a miter gauge. I believe it's miter gauge. I always want to say meter for some reason. This piece is what's going to basically guide your wood through the saw blade, okay? You're using this as a guide. And if you needed to maybe cut like a 45-degree angle, you can loosen this piece and you could set it to the 45 degrees there, or maybe you need to do a 60 degree, 30 degree, whatever it is. You can always turn this. So I'll actually do that real quick. I'm going to loosen it, and then I could turn this. So maybe I need to cut, you know, an angle like this, and then you would tighten that down, and you would guide your wood through in that manner, okay? And you'd be able to make that cut. We're now looking at the front of the table saw here. This is known as the height and bevel adjuster wheel, and this is something that you're going to have to manually attach when you're setting up your table saw, because it's tough to see, but there is a screw right there. So you are going to need a screwdriver to get this piece attached. Right here, this is a lever, and if you turn that lever like that, now you can move it and set it at the angle that you need your blade on, okay? And this is really cool. I know mine's dusty, but all your angles are listed right here for you, and you can just set it to what you need. And then once you have it on what you need for the angle, make sure you flip that lever back over nice and tight, and you'll be able to cut at that angle you wanted. The next piece we're going to talk about is something that's called the rip fence, and it's actually stored right here on the side of the table saw, nice and handy. So the rip fence is basically used for providing you with a straight edge. So to install that, you're going to place it wherever you wanted it, and you can use this handy dandy measuring ruler here to decide. Look through the window and you'll be able to see where you need to line it up. I'm not placing it in any particular position. I'm just kind of showing you how it works. And to latch it, all I'm going to do is simply push this lever down, and now it is firm on your table saw. Like I mentioned before, the purpose of this is to give you a straight edge. They said rip fence, and you'd be able to easily guide your wood this way. You'd be able to do it this way. Gives you that straight edge that you need to work with. So the push bar is actually stored right here, and that's exactly what it is. When you're feeding something through, you use the push bar because you want to make sure you always have all of your digits. When you're done, so you don't lose it, just slide it back in there. You've probably noticed on the back side of your table saw, there is something known as the dust chute. And if you're working in a garage or a wood shop or some type of controlled environment that you don't really want all dusty, you'd be able to hook up a shop vac or whatever your ventilation system is so you don't have your sawdust spewing out everywhere. I'm outside though, so I've not actually connected it to anything, so I don't have anything out to really show you that piece. But one tip I do want to say about the dust chute is that sometimes you'll catch some pieces of wood that don't want to come fully out. So when you're done using your machine at the end of your project, everything's unplugged, then that would be a great time to make sure that dust chute is fully cleaned out of any, pieces that don't just shoot out on their own. The entire time I've made this video, this table saw has been, dun-dun-dun, unplugged. The last big thing I really want to talk about with this table saw is the on and off for it. There is no automatic shut off with this, so please, 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 when you are using it, make sure you are fully aware of your surroundings. I know you've caught my kids in this video. I just showed you this thing is completely unplugged. It's not even plugged into the wall outlet over there. So just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Be safe. Make sure you're always watching your fingers. Keep everything away from the blade that does not need to be cut. So this particular table saw, it's simply just this. It's green for on, red for off. That is it. There's no other safety mechanism shut off on here. So it's actually pretty easy to understand. People have accidents with these things. I mean, they become complacent, they get into their project, they're not paying attention. So safety first, guys. I originally wanted this table saw because I have started tearing down pallets, and I have made some really cool projects using the table saw. This one has, it's about a 30-degree angle on it. So I put 30-degree angles on both sides, and then I painted it. This just needs to be clear coated. This is an original one that I had made. And if you look there at the top, you can tell it's not straight because I had done it with a jigsaw, and it was just really becoming complicated to say the least. It still looks great. It's just not the straight edging that I really was after. And then when I switched over to using the table saw, I started incorporating really cool, simple angles to really, make things look great. And then of course, this is just a little one that I did. Nice straight edge. And then I've gone as far as taking 2x4s and slicing them down as well to make nice decorative pieces. So whether you're the man of the house and you got projects going on and you need, you know, an efficient, lightweight, portable table saw to help you get the work done, or maybe your wife is into arts and crafts and, you know, she wants something small, simple, something that's not going to terrify the crap out of her. This is really the Craftsman 13.0 table saw. It's really a great option to consider. It is hot out here. I am going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. If you found it super helpful, give me a great big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye now.